What's up, everyone? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium where I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is a request for Leaky Peach on Patreon. Fzero Dream Chaser. Actually, the request was for this guitar arrange, but I figured I would listen to the original, which I think is the original. No one requested this, so happy birthday. I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of weird if I listen to an arrange and then not the original first. But anyways, first the original, which no one requested, and then the request. Dream Chaser from Fzero. Don't know who composed this. The bass is so fast. Sounds like a... I know that sound on guitar. It's a pedal tone. Sounds like on the G. Maybe D. I can't imagine what a guitar arrangement is going to sound like. A high-speed race across the galaxy. Straight speed metal. Man, the bass is so heavy on this one. This is really easy to play on the guitar, this kind of stuff. So cool though. Dude, the drums. This is fast. That's up there, BPM. Maybe like 220, 230. I'm not sure if those drums are being played by a human. That's like entirely way too precise to just also doing. It's hard to tell with this Nintendo 64. Oh, there's a power chord in there they threw in there. It was super quick. Even if I were to slow this down, it would still be fast. I can just feel the nostalgia from everybody right now. All right, now the actual request from an official guitar arrange. I'm going to assume... Actually, I'm going to have some hopes. I'm going to hope it's a little slower. I know it sounds weird, but maybe like 10 BPM slower. And I'm assuming that it's going to be real instruments, like a band playing. But basically the same thing. Anyways, let's go. Dream Chaser. Yeah, pretty much. Bass has some distortion now, a little more chunky. Oh. That's on a different string now, I think, or a different lower octave. So much double bass. Double bass meaning the double foot pedal on the drums. A little you hear. That's hard. It's constant. Constant. It's fast playing. Okay. I like that. That was very welcoming. Change it up a little bit. The drummer's really showing off in this. The synth is pretty good too. The bass is so distorted. It's interesting, they changed a lot of things, and yet it still sounds almost identical. How weird. It's a lot of speed. Sonic would be proud. By the way, if you're into like constant double bass in songs, I have a recommendation for a song called Silent Night Bodom Night from Children Bodom off of Hey Breeder. You'll hear it immediately as soon as the song starts. Okay, so again, the request was for this one, but I'm kind of glad I checked out the first one because I don't always do that. But I figured, you know, no one else requested it. There's not a whole lot of requests for Fzero. I was like, oh, why not? I'm in a good mood. So clearly, this whole theme is speed. It's a racing game. It's an action type of racing game. There's a whole lot of testosterone going on in this game. It seems like just a whole adrenaline rush. And overall, it seems like this game is geared around like just a ripping good time. Like it's just meant to just put a smile on your face, forget what's going on, and just have fun. You know, video games are fun. When you don't want to be engrossed into a story or sad or combos or something, you're just it's. I feel, you know what I think of when I think of Fzero, because I never played them and I didn't own Nintendo, and so I know nothing of this game. The only thing I know about Fzero is Captain Falcon. That's it. And even then, I don't know anything about him either. I just know he's an entity from the game. But when I think of Fzero, I think of arcade culture. So for I think most people, according to my analytics, that watch this are in my age range typically, but there are some, Gen Zers out there and all that, and that's cool. Hello. But once upon a time, there was a thing called arcades. God. I sound like I should put on my like Velcro shoes and back in my day. But not really in my day, because I was part of the generation of the first consoles. Not first consoles, but like when consoles took over. Anyways, arcades, they're still around. You can find them here and there, like Dave and Buster's or Round One or something. But they were everywhere, right? They were a huge part of the culture. I think they're still pretty big in Japan, actually. But they were everywhere, right? And when you think of an arcade, you think of just strictly fun, collecting tickets, prizes, all the sounds, everything is trying to catch your attention, everything is bright and colorful, so you can walk past it and be like, ooh, what's that? Bunch of racing games. I have no idea if Fzero was even ever an arcade game. But it's not totally impossible, because a lot of, not a whole lot, but, the PlayStation and the Nintendo 64 definitely had like ports of arcade games that were dying out, and they just made them into a console game, so it's possible. But the only racing game that really like comes to mind when I think of like arcade is like Initial D and maybe like San Francisco Rush, maybe. I don't know, Cruis'n USA. There's a bunch though. Anyways, but the music is definitely reflecting that whole like energy and just fun. Almost in a way, I know it sounds kind of weird, but almost in a way to like not pay too much attention to. I'm willing to bet there's people here that are hearing this that have played this game but never really heard these songs on their own. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it's just kind of meant to just enjoy in the moment, and maybe not so much just like listen to on your own free time. I'm sure it's for some they do that. I do that. But for this type of sound, it seems very specific to this type of like energy of the game. So I don't know who composed this. The last time I checked, or the only other song I did, that one kind of threw me for a loop because it was Shoji Meguro from, oh god, Persona? Wait, am I confusing that with something else? I could be wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure it was Shoji Meguro, so I was like, oh, that's cool, and it sounds like nothing like him. I don't know if they were a part of this first, or if, I don't know who did this, or the other one. But I'm sure you all will tell me. Now, the original, well, we could talk about both of them because they're both pretty much identical. But there were some changes, and what's interesting is that even though there's identical, there's a lot of changes, which is kind of counterintuitive. But for example, the bass in the first one was just consistently a pedal tone. Pedal tone meaning it's like, and in this one, it had more of a like bass lines. So it was doing more. It was doing more expressive things. It wasn't just kind of like machine gunning these. Then again, this was like a real band. I'm pretty sure the second one, whereas the first one was probably just like programmed bass to just go like do 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 do, and then whatever. So the second one obviously had like the more rhythmic changes with the drummer and some pretty cool stuff going on. They had that little break part. Actually, it's a fill. I don't think I've ever had a fill on this channel. Fills are everywhere if you go to a live show or hear. Actually, they're not even common in real music anymore. Maybe like in the 70s, 80s, early 90s. But fills are basically literally that, a space to fill the blank space. It's like a little mini drum solo for like a couple seconds. That's where you hear the little, then it goes back into the song. Still cool. It's just don't really hear that in games ever. So I really like that they kept the energy and basically the exact same feel of the first one. The only reason I'm not seeing is because this image is like super pixelated. But it's really cool. And it makes me nostalgic, even though I never had anything to do with this console. But I still grew up in this era, right? I consider myself pretty lucky. I grew up in the 90s. It was a cool time. The world was a lot less chaotic, and we didn't really have internet quite just yet, so stuff was still wholesome for a bit. And video games were really cool, and they were really big part of my early childhood, except I wasn't part of the Nintendo craze. So for me, I missed out on all this. So it's nostalgic, yet totally brand new. It's funny how that works. I was a PlayStation Sega kid. And at this point, Nintendo 64 era, I did have Nintendo via the Game Boy Color, but I only had Pokemon in that, so it's cool. It's very cool. It's taking me down memory lane. Dream Chaser is the name of the song. I'm guessing that is maybe a stage. I'm not sure. Who knows? But Fzero seems to be like kind of iconic and still kind of. It seems like one of those immortal IPs. I think Fzero is just like one of those things that will never go away. And I wonder why. I wonder what made Fzero stand out from the other racing games. Is it just a racing game? That kind of thing. So let me know. Big thank you to Leaky Peach and everyone that you see on the screen, especially you for watching. I really appreciate it. Until next time, dudes and dudettes, my name is Jesse in the Auditorium. Take it easy. Take care of yourselves.